This is the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Blazer fans, this is the place each week to get an inside look into UAB Athletics. This episode of the Inferno Podcast is brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and Pearl River Resort. Welcome into the Inferno Podcast. It's episode 24. Landrum Roberts. I am your host. This week in UAB Athletics, it's always brought to us by our friends at Legacy Credit Union, the official credit union of UAB Athletics. UAB soccer coach David Lilly is going to be sitting in. He will describe what he saw in season number 1 under his leadership. We'll take a look at off-season program and as well the 2025 season, a sneak peek ahead. One of his standout players, defender, a local product, Alan Melendez, is going to be sitting in our Student Athlete of the Week segment. And, of course, a fan favorite, the Lightning Round. All of that and more. Episode 24, The Inferno, starts right now.
Trent Dilfer here, head football coach of the UAB Blazers. I want to tell you about my friends at Legacy Credit Union. Legacy began as University Credit Union in 1955 and remains committed to UAB faculty, students, alumni, and fans. Not only do they support the Birmingham community, but they are also proud sponsors of UAB and UAB Athletics. Visit LegacyCreditUnion.com and find out why you should become a member today.
The Inferno Podcast, Blazer fans, we've made it really, really easy for you. There's a lot of different ways that you can consume this podcast each and every week, and we certainly appreciate you doing that. But you're going to appreciate it because we're going to keep you up to date on everything going on within the athletics program, the green and gold. YouTube, it's pretty simple. At Inferno Podcast UAB, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your family about it, your friends, your neighbors, spread it around the office. This thing is going to catch fire, literally. Appreciate you joining us there on YouTube. But also Instagram, you can find us Inferno_pod on Twitter, or the X if you prefer, at InfernoPod_UAB. On Facebook, that's kind of the OG, right? UAB Athletics. You can find it there on Facebook. And, of course, you can go to UABsports.com. We got links. We got all different ways. There is no excuse for you to miss the Inferno Podcast.
As UAB athletes, there's nothing we like more than the Lord of Pride.
Around here, we say we win as one.
One.
And to keep cheering for the green and gold.
There's one thing we need from you.
Ask your doctor about an RSV vaccine.
And help protect everyone.
Our littlest Blazers and our most seasoned fans are most at risk from RSV.
Ask about your RSV vaccine today.
So we can all stay in the game.
And win as one.
Welcome back into the Inferno Podcast. This week in UAB Athletics, it is always brought to us by the Alabama Department of Public Health to help protect all UAB fans. Ask your doctor about your RSV vaccine today so we can all win as one. Well, winning is what is happening with Andy Kennedy and the men's basketball program. They win their second straight over the weekend as they knock off Charlotte in convincing fashion, 96-78. Yaxel Lindeborg, another double-double, 22 points and 14 rebounds. But how about AJ Vasquez, who joined us just a couple of weeks ago on the Inferno? 7th time in his UAB career that he's gone 25 points or more. He has 26 points versus Charlotte. It was welcomed. Coming up next for the Blazers, they travel to East Carolina on Tuesday as they take on the Pirates with a 7 o'clock tip there. Meanwhile, the news not so good for Coach Randy Norton and women's basketball. They fall on the road in New Orleans to Tulane. But next up, they got a chance to redeem themselves. They're going to host Charlotte Saturday, 2 p.m. the tip at Bartow Arena. Women's golf, they open their season with a win over Samford. Go Blazers. UAB Rifle, it's culminating, the season coming to a close, but another great performance versus North Georgia. Coming up next, got the SoCon Championship this weekend, Statesboro, Georgia, on Saturday and Sunday as well. Women's tennis, unfortunately, fell in Starkville over the weekend at Mississippi State. Next up, they got North Florida coming up in Auburn on Saturday with first serve scheduled for 11 a.m. Track, the UAB Vulcan Invite comes up this Friday, February 7th at the Birmingham Crossplex. Softball getting their season started Mobile, Alabama, the South Alabama Invitational. First game on Friday. Blazers take on Northwestern State at 11:30. Then the Blazers take on UIC at 2 p.m. And then Saturday, they'll take on Murray State as well. And you got men's tennis hosting Sanford coming up on Friday, February 7th at 2 p.m. There's a lot going on, Green and Gold Nation. That is what's happening in UAB Athletics. Coming up next, our Coach's Corner. Coach David Lilly, UAB Men's Soccer's The Inferno podcast continues. UAB Soccer, a few more wins last year. Of course, David Lilly, his first year in 2024 as a head coach of the Blazer men's soccer team. Coach, welcome into the Inferno. How are you?
We are good. Thank you for having me.
That is a very deep Southern accent that you were speaking with this morning.
20 years of experience with Southern states. So, yeah. Sound very Southern at this point.
Very, very Southern. You know, they say, some people do anyways, that the Southern accent is the closest to the King's English.
Maybe.
I don't know if you've ever heard that.
I haven't heard that. No. There's a lot of Scottish and English and Irish people that settled over here. So they say that accent's apparently a reflection of that. But I don't think I sound very Southern at times.
Coach, do you get it a lot? I love the Scottish accent. I think that, and it's one that I can't perfect or replicate, and I try to do that with impersonations and different things, but it's one that I can't quite do because I'm doing injustice to the accent, but it's a beautiful accent. I don't know if you've ever been told that by another guy, but that it is. It's a beautiful accent.
No, I've been told if you just put a few marbles in your mouth, you're able to replicate it pretty well.
Okay.
Makes it easy.
Well, first of all, this is the first time that we've met, and you were here this last season taking over the men's soccer program, and things are on the rise as far as, or the pitch, I should say, with UAB soccer. We know what you inherited. Don't want to talk about past regimes, but I think it's only fair that we go back to what you walked into and some of the foundations, the bedrock, if you will, that you put in place for this program moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it was it's pretty natural cycle of a program. Like, this is my third time taking over a program as a head coach, and usually when I'm taking over, it's because it's went through a cycle where it might not have been achieving at the level it wants to. So coming in, we weren't that fazed by where the program was, and we knew that we're going to have our work cut out, but we were excited about it. And then it's all about coming into the environment and finding out where they need help and finding out where the strengths are and trying to bolster those strengths and trying to work around that and trying to get the right pieces in to take it forward. And that's all we've tried to do. We've just tried to take it forward from where it's been, and we'll keep trying to do that.
When you got the phone call from UAB Athletics Director Mark Ingram, said, "Hey, we want to talk to you. Obviously, we're interested in what you've done in previous places and your extensive experience." Was Birmingham new to you when you got here?
Yeah, well, I have. So I moved to America when I was 17, and I've been moving here and there for different parts. But for the 20 years, I lived in East Tennessee. So went to Milligan, went to East Tennessee State, played at Milligan, bounced around in North Carolina for a year, in other places for a little bit. But I always seemed to come back to Tennessee and ended up being the coach at East Tennessee State. We were really happy there, myself and my wife, and it was something that we've lived there, we're happy there. And when we found out about UAB and we found out about the opportunity there, it was something I had known because when I was an assistant at East Tennessee State, we had played against UAB. I think it was back in 2011, 2012. We'd come up and played UAB. They came back down and played against us. And at that time, UAB was a bit of a power. Like, they were the first year, I think they were top 25. The second year, I think they were top 10 in the nation as a program. So I just remember always thinking UAB's got it figured out. Like, they've got a really good program. It's got a good reputation. They did a great job. That was always in the back of my mind when I found out about the opportunity. And then when I came to visit, it looked a lot different than back then. Obviously, there's been a lot of things happen to the campus, and the stadium is beautiful. So coming back, I had an idea in my head what it could be, and then I brought my family down to check it out, and we were taken back a little bit about how far it's come along on campus and how far the stadium's come along, and we went and visited some different areas in Birmingham and really enjoyed it. So we were really happy when we came and visited.
We know how crazy it is, and you know this from being in the South, whether it's the state of Tennessee, whether it's the state of Alabama, just the Southeast, how football crazy we are. And especially football crazy, North American football. I should clarify. Sorry, Coach. Here in the state of Alabama, but there is a big soccer culture, especially here in Birmingham, not only with the great programs that we have at the high school level, but the club programs. That had to have been a draw for you, where your recruiting focus, that net doesn't have to go too far, right there in the heart of Birmingham.
No, absolutely. There's even when I was first coming over, I think that was right around the time David Beckham was coming over, and soccer might not have been a massive thing. Hosted the World Cup '94, and then Beckham came over, and there was a big buzz about it. And over the course of my 20 years, it's kind of grown and multiplied even more since then. It's been really cool to watch how the sport's evolved over here, and it's definitely growing. And one thing we know about Alabama is a lot of good players that have come through here. A lot of guys playing at very, very high levels, and that will continue to happen. So it's an exciting time. There's a lot of people, a lot of kids playing soccer right now, and they're growing up in good environments. So, and there's no different here in Alabama. There's a lot of good options for them.
Yeah, I played a lot of sports. Soccer was not one of them. I had a lot of buddies that played, but I always respected the sport. The amount of endurance, first of all, that was kind of a no for me. You guys never stop running unless you're the goalie. And goalie would have been one of the positions I would have said, hey, let me give it a shot. A lot of respect there, Coach. What are you looking for when you're recruiting, you're looking at different film, you're getting phone calls about this kid, this kid, this kid. What are you in particular looking for, certain traits?
Well, I think it's you're obviously looking for the right quality. So you've got a profile of the player that you would like to bring in per the different positions. You just mentioned goalkeeper, so that's got a totally different outlook than the rest.
Did I say it wrong? I said goalie.
No, that's fine. Goalie's great. Yeah, you did it perfect. So goalie's got its own kind of, they're on a different world, the goalkeepers and the rest of the positions, and then you've got your defenders and your midfielders and your forwards and your wide players. So you've got a profile of the player you want to bring in, and you're just looking for those qualities. Obviously, the way we want to play, you're looking to see if they can adapt to that environment and do well in it. And I used to think it was always the right thing to do to bring in the best player possible, but what I've found is you're trying to bring in the best personality possible. So we spend a lot of time trying to get to know our guys. We make a lot of calls and have them on visits and do our research with them and their family and just get to see if they're the right personality as well for it.
Last year, got some wins in the wins column, and that is why you're here and you're heading up the men's soccer program. Describe maybe the evolution from starting match number one till the end of the season when you wrapped up in early November. What did you see from your group?
Yeah, it was there's a lot. So obviously we kicked off pre-season. The boys came in fit and motivated, and that was a really exciting thing to see them come in. And we played our first game against Chapel Hill, who I think they were ranked. I think they were in the top 25 when we played them. And we played really well. I thought we honestly outplayed UNC that day, and we outshot them and had good moments, and we just didn't have the killer instinct to get the goal that we needed to take us through, and then they ended up getting a penalty kick late on and won the game. But obviously we want to win every game, but we took a lot of positives from that as a group, and we knew we could build off of that foundation. And then I think we went on the other thing you're thinking about is it's another game you still haven't won. So there's a lot of the guys who were might have been thinking, are we going to get that win? So the next home game was Georgia State, and it went right up to the 80th minute. It's 10 minutes to go, and then we got that goal, and that was a big moment for the guys. They had really been working on trying to keep their mental state of mind in a really good place and just keep pushing. And obviously we want to win every game, and we want to play well in every game, but it's not always a guarantee. So it was really nice to get that goal and get that win, and then a lot of belief started to surround the group. And we went on a period where we probably went, I think it was 7 or 8 games where we didn't lose. And obviously that's not the goal, but we went on a period where we were difficult to beat for sure. And we got more confidence in different areas, and got a big win against Louisville. Went to Louisville and had to battle some adversity when they got an equaliser, and ended up getting on the other end of it right after that with a winner again. And then you're going into conference play, and you're thinking, hopefully we can keep building on this. And played against Memphis in the first game, and they're very good. They obviously won the regular season, and I thought there was large periods of that game we played well, but we didn't go over the finish line. We didn't score the goal. We didn't do what we needed to do in the important moments. And then we started that conference season off with a loss, and then a little bit of the mentality of, are we going to do this again? Is it the same old? We're trying to find our next win again, and that was probably the most disappointing part of the season at that point, because we ended the season nowhere near as strong as we would have wanted to. In fact, we didn't start the conference. We won against FAU in the first game. Apologies, and then we went to Memphis after that. But we didn't finish the season as strong as we wanted. So that's the big challenge moving forward. I thought there was a lot of positive signs from the fall, that we're taking steps forward, but we've still got a lot to do, and we can't be so focused on winning every game. And if we don't win every game, it's the end of the world. There's a lot to play for, and there's a lot that we can improve on, and hopefully we can continue to do that in the next season.
For the layman, I can think about football and being the second year of a system, whether you're on the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball. I can think about it with AK and Coach Norton. You got the kids coming back in that particular system and the style of play. I would guess that translates to soccer as well. Describe maybe your schematically, your philosophy. Just help me out.
Yeah, no, a lot of people like to separate attacking and defending, and it's pretty natural when you're describing it, but we kind of focus on it all being connected. So I guess first and foremost, one of the principles we tried to get through to the guys was having a lot of intensity with our press and with our defensive actions. We wanted to make teams uncomfortable, where we didn't want them to have a free ride of a game and be able to dictate the tempo all the time. We wanted to have some control in it, and so we felt it was important for our guys to feel comfortable going after teams, the best teams we play, and every other team we play against. So we worked on the press quite a bit, and we did that one because we think that's an important way to go after it and show a lot of energy, but we wanted to score as many goals as possible. And usually when you've won that ball back, when the team's building and playing in their expansive shape, that's usually one of your best moments to go forward in. So they're a bit vulnerable in that moment. So we did a lot of work on our press and defending and getting organised and working together with that, and then our reactions to winning the ball going forward. And one thing we've also tried to recruit for and also work with the guys on is having the intelligence to understand, can you go forward straight away and should you do it, or can you put your foot on it and move the ball and look for another moment to go forward. So not possession for the sake of possession, but looking for a good moment to go forward. So that's something we've also been spending a lot of time on, picking those moments, when to go forward, when to put our foot on it and have some control in the game. And to get over the finish line, that helps you win games. Those moments help you win games, and I think that helped us over the finish line in a lot of games this year. But it's also really important you're passionate about, like you said, keeping the ball at the back of the net and focusing on the defensive side of it. So I think the guys have done a good job trying to focus on those moments, and the reactions have got better. One of the things I'd say that we had to work on quite a bit was, like I said, it was the end of the world sometimes when we concede a goal or when we'd lose possession, we'd lose our focus quite a bit. And I think the guys have done a great job just getting on to the next action and just making sure we're getting better in each moment.
You said recruiting, the core of the group as it stands right now, and I know with transfer portal that makes things a little bit different, but your roster retention, what's coming back next year? Do you feel like you got a good core and a lot of that group that was with you in season number one?
We do. We got a good group. It's a young group right now. We had a lot of freshmen and sophomores.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, no, it was. They contributed quite a bit last year, and now we've got a young group we're working with right now. It's been exciting. They've had a good mentality this spring, and now we're trying to help them with what they need. We need a bit of experience in some places. We need a bit of help in some areas. So we're just identifying those and going after it as best we can. But the group and their mentality has been positive this semester so far. And obviously this is the off season right now, so we won't kick off again until August with the official games. We'll have 5 non-conference games, kind of scrimmages this spring to see where we're at. But it's been encouraging to see them have a good mentality.
Across all sports, we see drama. And I mean from the participants, the players, the coaches to some degree, but the players. In football, we have the faking of injuries. That's a huge part of the game and some debate if you're catching a guy faking. And it's all about intent and how can you prove a guy's injured, faking, whatever. And they're trying to come up with solutions there. Basketball, we have the flop. Everybody knows about the flop. Soccer, and I'm going to say you guys, the some of the flops that I see, you would think they're going to have to amputate the leg. Mm-hmm. Trainer comes out, miracle spray, psh, all of a sudden, dude he's back. He's running for another 87 plus minutes. Does that go on? Am I playing that up too much about oh my gosh?
I think there's I think people that might not have grown up playing the sport and might not have been ingrained in it, that's probably the biggest pet peeve of them when they're looking on at the sport. I think they've got appreciation for some of it.
There's entertainment value in it for me.
Yeah, but they don't like the flopping. And I get it. It's not the best part of the game for sure.
Do you teach that?
We definitely don't teach it. But what I will say is there's just like with the flop, when you're talking about basketball, if you're relating it to that, there's strategy in it, right?
Yeah.
So although it's not something growing up that was ingrained in me, and it wasn't ingrained in a lot of the programs I've been around, a lot of coaches I've been with, if you are running at a high level and you're sprinting and you get into the opponent's box and they've instructed you in some way, even if it's not full contact, technically that is a foul. And there's a lot of honest people out there that wouldn't go down and wouldn't embellish it, but they wouldn't get the call.
So in turn, that would be considered selfish.
See, you're learning. It's not you guys now. I think you're part of the gang now.
I am part of the gang. This is great. I'm going to be on your sideline this year.
But yeah, it's obviously it's a dark part of it. There's strategy involved. There's tactics involved. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of the rolling around for 10 minutes and things like that. But there is a reason for some of it, and we definitely don't practice it as a group. But there's definitely strategy along with it, and it can be frustrating at times. But it's just part of the game.
So now that you've enlightened me on some of this, you're down 1-0. Mm-hmm. I said that right.
Yeah, 1-0. Okay. See,
you're down 1-0, and it's late. And you realize, you know what, we have not had that many flops or injuries, so what does injury time look like? Are you conscious, or not you, your team conscious of that? Like maybe it'd be a good time to fall down to maybe build some extra time?
There's definitely parts of that goes on.
Because it's brilliant if that's the case.
In some teams. No, but that is a strategy. There's definitely teams that will, and you see it in the highest level, see it in the Champions League, see it in the Premier League, you see teams really take advantage of those moments where they're down for a little bit longer, or they even just go down when there's no one around them because they know the game's got to stop. That helps the team manage it. We wouldn't necessarily encourage our guys to do that. We would encourage them to manage the game in different ways. So where do we want the ball to be in certain moments? How can we take advantage of the game? We'll talk about it as a team, ways that we can slow the game down, ways that we can speed it up and get that second goal. There's different strategies different coaches will have. But going down and for 5 minutes here and there is not something that we would be encouraging to do.
I've almost gotten rid of all of my pedestrian questions for you as someone who has just watched soccer. I watch the World Cup, and when the World Cups are on, I'll dial in. I'll be watching UAB soccer. Now, go Blazers. But when a red card, a yellow card for a player, is there a fine line for you? Because I know with some coaches, doesn't matter what happened, you get a tee, we're going to have a problem. It's okay for the coach to get teed up or to get the 15-yard foul, or for you, Coach Lilly, to maybe get a yellow card. How do you view that with your players?
Well, you've got a good guest coming on next that can probably give you some good insight on that as well, and Alan Melendez, he'll have some good insight. But yeah, yellow cards and red cards are part of the game. You could be doing something totally honest and get a yellow card. It's not something that is. Sometimes people outside the game think if you're getting a yellow card, you're doing something dishonest. It's not the case. So you could have been going for 50-50, something goes wrong, you get a yellow card, and you can get two of those just as easy. So you've got to be smart about what tackles you go into, what fouls you get yourself into, because that can accumulate and get a red card. And even some red cards can be totally honest as well. It doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something dirty. So we kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. We obviously want our guys to be smart and not put themselves in positions to be in red cards, but we also train what happens when we're down a man. So it's something it's part of the game. You've got to, even if it's not a red card, some guys might get an injury, they're out for periods, and you're down a man for that. You might be down two men. It's part of the game, and it's something that we must train. It's, like you said, there's adversity, there's challenges in games, and if you just blow up or you lose your composure because of something like that, then you're going to be in for a tough game. I think if it was basketball, if it was 5 versus 4, that might be a huge difference. If it was hockey, it's a huge difference, but we can still compete if we've got 10 men playing against 11. So it's not something we should be fazed by. And we do try to get smart with the guys on where and when to pick up the yellows and why you shouldn't in certain areas to keep 11 men on the field, but it's certainly not the end of the world.
Fascinating conversation. UAB soccer coach David Lilly, one of his leaders, Alan Melendez. He's going to be joining us. Our student athlete of the week as the Inferno podcast continues. Welcome back into the Inferno podcast. Landrum Roberts, I'm your host. UAB soccer coach David Lilly, now our student athlete of the week. He is a local product out of Spain Park High School. Fine program there with the Jags over in Metro Birmingham, Hoover to be exact. Alan Melendez joining us. Alan, welcome into the Inferno. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right, let's get right to it, Coach. We were talking about yellow cards, red cards. He said the guy that we're going to have on, meaning you, could explain a little bit better about differentiating and how that is viewed by your head coach. Take us through that. Have you accrued a few in your career?
Yeah.
Are you known as that guy?
I was last year.
I like you already.
Last year, I started the season off with a red card. First ever collegiate game. Freshman year, obviously, I was out. But yeah, first game, I just...
What'd you do? Take us through it.
So there's this kid. It was off a corner.
Sounds like a punk.
Yeah, he was.
All right, go ahead.
But he comes in behind me, just shoves me, gives me a little shove. And so once he gets in front of me, I give him a little trip. And he, starts rolling, exaggerates it. The linesman saws it.
Who would have guessed, right?
He saw it, and he was like, give him a straight red card. And then, I was just sent off. It's hard just because, at that moment you feel like you let the team down. It's a tough one. But, yeah,
What was your head coach's reaction?
Well, it wasn't with him.
Oh, it was not?
Year,
okay, I'm sorry.
It wasn't with him that year. But, it was just disappointing, It's a tough one.
How does he react?
It depends, I got a yellow card last year because I lost my head. And that's something that he's not okay with. Losing your head is the one that I think will get anybody mad, Just because we focus on that so much as a team, keep your composure and all that. But yeah, I think I got subbed off that game. I think just to cool down a little bit, and then I was right back in it.
Alan, take us back. You meet your new coach. After the 2023 season, we have the 2024, and Coach Lilly comes in. Describe maybe that first meeting and maybe the anticipation, the expectation, and then learning about Coach and what he's instilling in you guys.
First meeting was amazing. I think off the bat, we kind of, as a team, some of the guys knew that we were in good hands, Once we talked about goals and, the way we wanted to play, all that stuff, I think we were all happy that he was here, And just like he brought in a new culture, set new standards, And that's something that we were all excited for.
What is some of the culture, the standards that were new for you guys or just different for the team when Coach Lilly and staff came in?
I think just, I think back then we were so scared of making mistakes, and mentally most of the guys weren't there. But now when they got there, it was like, it's not that big of a deal as long as you react in a positive way, And so I think guys slowly just started feeling more comfortable. The game for us just started being more enjoyable, and everybody just started feeling happy. It was amazing.
Coach, we hear that, and I would have a high school coach, a football coach, say, if you're going to make a mistake, make it going full speed.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, mistakes are part of the game. Like, you're going to make mistakes, so you may as well embrace it. And I think if you play with a fear of losing, then you're not going to be able to play at your best ability. So as long as we embrace mistakes and we try to do it the right way and we respond the right way, then I don't think there's any problem with mistakes. I think it's just something you can't be so focused on winning and you can't be so focused on the fear of losing. I think you're just trying to make sure that you're playing the best you can and you're responding the best you can.
What does your weekly routine look like now in the off season? And I realize that it's 12 months that you guys, whether it's a schedule that's in the late part of summer that goes into what we call the fall, and I guess technically it would be to what you're doing in the colder months and some of the other months.
In the spring specifically, right now, it's a semester where you get to work on yourself a lot. Physically, that's the main part. Physically, I'd say, getting bigger, getting faster. Obviously, we have some preseason or some games coming up where more tactical stuff, fitness, this and that. That's usually how it is. Right now, it's practice at 10 in the morning, lift at 4 every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But yeah, it's more. Spring is just more for us as a team, just to get bigger, faster, and work on ourselves.
Is there a particular drill it's good for you, but you hate to do?
Probably most of them.
That's kind of tough. I love me some 21 possession.
Okay.
Love me some 21. It's kind of tough for me right now, just because I've been out for a bit.
Anything with a ball, he loves.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard for the guys. They love being on the ball.
Yes, I can understand that.
No fitness. Anything with the ball sounds really good.
So if we need to work on something that's the focus is not on the ball, we need to distract them with the ball, so they know that they're going to have fun with it.
How much, as far as running, are we doing? I realize we're probably doing wind sprints, but as far as endurance runs, what does that look like?
It's pretty good.
How many miles?
It's more like 800 meters, 800 to 1,000 meters. I've learned that over these couple of weeks.
800 to 1,000 meters.
Yeah.
We saw a kid, and you played at Spain Park, but his name is Ethan Strand, and he runs track. You see, he played at Vestavia, ran at Vestavia, and then he just set the what was it? The mile record where he ran it in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Are you kidding me?
That's
that
incredible.
Kid's crazy. And he played soccer as well too. Kind of grew up like knowing that he was there. He was known for his speed and stuff like that. But yeah, that kid's crazy.
That's wild. The whole running aspect. I have a lot of respect for you guys and what you do, and running so much, and a lot of times it's 0-0. You're just like, man.
Well, we have a shout out to the strength and conditioning and our staff as well. Coach Kyle and Coach Cole have a background in sports science, so they got their degree from East Tennessee State, and we've got targets for the guys that they've got to meet. So it's not a case of doing fitness for the sake of fitness. Like, the guys will be getting a certain amount of running done in the week, and then they might have a top up at the end of certain sessions and things like that. So it's all kind of calculated out for them. They've got meters they've got to hit.
I'm interested in the next answers. Alan, who is the soccer player that you most wanted to emulate as you were growing up? That guy that you looked to?
I was definitely a huge fan of Ronaldinho.
Okay.
That clearly did not work out since I'm a defender. So, but slowly after that, like, I did get into like Sergio Ramos and all these big defenders. Yeah.
What about you, Coach?
I grew up, I know this isn't going to mean much, but I grew up a Celtic fan, and I had a season ticket for one of the big teams in Scotland. So I used to go at the games and watch it a little bit differently. I used to go and watch people in my position and kind of study what they did. And there was a player that wasn't in my position who I loved, whose name was Henrik Larsson. So he was kind of a hero growing up. He was a Swedish striker that I really liked. But I would watch Paul Lambert, Neil Lennon. Those names aren't going to mean a lot to people out there, but people that played at a fairly high level and played the game a really good way, and I really appreciated it. And then that's who I kind of grew up watching.
Larry Bird was my favorite Celtic.
Yeah, that's true.
Growing up.
That's true. Got the shamrock and everything. It's the same thing. We've got the four-leaf clover. So I watched a bit of Larry Bird as well, the Celtics. Watched those documentaries. I enjoy those.
Coach, any message for the UAB fans before you get out of here? We'll have the lightning round with Alan, but congratulations on year one, and I know that it's an incremental thing and it's an ascension. But any message for the Green and Gold Nation about the soccer program, or maybe how they can help or help come on and support you guys?
Yeah, just it'd be great if you can come support us. Obviously, the boys are working very, very hard. They've got a good head on their shoulders coming into the program. There's a lot of fire. They really want to see the program do really well. They want to be good ambassadors for the program. Alan's a good example of that as a local boy. He's coming in obviously with great intentions, and he's continuing to develop non-stop, and we need your help to continue doing that. So coming out to the games and supporting us would be huge this upcoming fall. Get a bit of momentum with the program, get a bit of excitement. We're going to do our bit to get in the community this spring and see if we can help out and be a good presence within the community. And then obviously if there's ways that you can contribute financially, it really helps us keep our staff. It really helps us give these guys a great experience moving forward. So yeah, we're working as hard as we possibly can to make everyone proud, and anything you can do to help support us would be great.
Well, you just added a fan. I'm awesome. A fan, and I'll do whatever the team needs me to do.
Terrific.
If you need me to heckle, that's fine.
We've got some sprint work today, so I've got some boots for you if you want to come.
Do you have a stopwatch? I'll time the guys. I'll write down times. Would that be good? Because I drink my coffee and I sit in my easy chair.
You're all set.
Coach Lilly, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Very nice to meet you. We continue. That's Coach David Lilly. And we have the lightning round coming up with Alan. Is he ready? I hope so. The Inferno podcast continues.
The if in life. It's a world of possibilities. If you go for a night out with friends. If you can keep an eye on your money along the way. If you know you have overdraft protection with no fee transfers from savings. When you get a low balance alert, it's easier to say yes to fun. If that sounds good, try Regions Life Banking.
Stay ready for the if in life. Regions Bank embrace the if in life.
Welcome back into the Inferno podcast. It's time for our lightning round. It's our student athlete of the week, Alan Melendez. He's defender for Coach David Lilly, UAB men's soccer. You feeling good, Alan? How are you?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel amazing.
Are you thinking about the training that's going to take place later on today? Are you dreading anything?
Nah, I enjoy it.
No, you did.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah, anything with a ball, right?
Anything with a ball.
All right. We do have the lightning round coming up, but we were just kind of talking with Coach here, but some other things that you really enjoy about not only being a student athlete, whether it's UAB, and we're glad you're here, but just part of that life and that culture and what you've really enjoyed in your time.
Honestly, just being around with the guys, lifting and stuff, it's all enjoyable. At first, they're teammates, but slowly they become family. It's amazing. They make everything enjoyable.
Lifelong friendships, too.
Oh, for sure.
This is the lightning round. There's no wrong answers.
Gotcha.
There are some that are better than others. And we do compare you to your brothers and sisters in the athletic department from various other sports. So you want to represent football.
Gotcha.
Or
yeah,
soccer, as we call it here in the States. Some of us do, anyways. I'm learning. All right, it's time for the lightning round. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Are you pretty good with pop culture?
A little bit.
Okay. What does the acronym SMH stand for?
Shaking my head.
Boom.
Yeah.
1 for 1. Troy Bolton's dad in High School Musical is the brother-in-law of which famous actress in real life?
You lost me there.
I didn't know.
No idea.
I had this question last week and I almost forgot it. Blake Lively is the answer. See if you can get this one. Which pop star accidentally set fire to her home gym with candles? And I gave this hint last week. She's been a mess for a while. I know that doesn't narrow it down, sadly. Pop star accidentally burned down her home gym with some candles.
I feel like I've heard about this.
Let me looking over here. Saw what you did there.
No.
The word baby Baby came up in a lot of her songs. Hit Me. Baby. It's Britney Spears.
Britney Spears. You know, I was gonna have
to
for some
sing the
reason.
song.
I was gonna say Miley Cyrus for some reason. I feel like she's been a little bit, crazy out there. But
Bend It Like Beckham, the movie. Good or bad?
Good.
Any other soccer movies that you go to? You really like?
Not movies. More like I like the documentaries. Those are.
I didn't ask Coach about it, but Braveheart, that's a movie that everybody gets fired up. I don't care what the sport. You ever seen Braveheart?
That's football QB. Football QB?
No.
No?
No. Mel Gibson, Braveheart. Oh my gosh.
No.
You and
no
Coach
idea.
Lilly have a lot to talk about. That might be your training today. He might just tell everybody else, go do your thing. Alan, come with me. We have to talk. Ooh. All right, about you. No, you're fine. You're fine. Early bird or night owl?
Night out.
You like to cook or take out?
Cook.
What do you cook?
Some steak.
Steak? You have a particular kind?
Nah.
Petite filet, T-bone?
Nah.
It's all good?
It's all good.
What are you working with as your side dishes when you get steak?
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
Some asparagus.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a good answer. Most hated chore?
Probably doing my clothes. That's probably something I don't enjoy.
Yeah, clothes thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better either.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Find you somebody special that hopefully agrees to do your clothes. Favorite family memory? Birthday party, vacation.
Probably birthday party. We got a birthday party.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you have a superhero that you were a big fan of growing up?
I guess Superman.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah.
See, that was mine.
Yeah.
It's just generation to generation. Superman never gets old. What is the hardest position to play in soccer? Your opinion?
I'd have to go with a goalie.
Goalie.
Yeah. I think I'd go with goalie.
Got to be tall. You got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
Guessing a lot of times.
You need a good goalie, or else you could shoot from 30, 40 yards. They could probably score. So yeah.
You being a defender, I think I know your answer, but would you rather have a lot of goals scored, or would you rather it be 0-0 going into injury time or extra time?
0-0.
0-0.
0-0.
Okay. Besides soccer, what is your favorite sport to watch on TV?
Football.
You got a team?
Browns.
Browns?
The Browns.
Really?
Yeah.
Why the Browns?
I have this close friend, Caleb Jowers. Got close with their family, and they were Browns fans, and they made me one. So.
Okay. Well, hopefully things will get better.
Yeah. It's tough times.
Yeah, it's tough times. Favorite sport to go watch in person?
Other than soccer?
Mm-hmm.
Basketball.
Basketball.
I like basketball.
Yeah.
Specifically UAB basketball.
Yeah. Go Blazers.
Go Blazers.
Keep on winning. Come on, AK. Coach Norton. Favorite athlete? You can go soccer. I'll allow you to go soccer, and then one non-soccer favorite athlete.
Okay. Soccer will be Messi. Outside of soccer, I guess LeBron. LeBron, yeah.
Wasn't the answer I was looking for. I'm a Michael Jordan guy. Michael Jordan was the best that ever played the game. He's the GOAT.
I agree with you.
Oh.
I agree with you.
Well,
I agree with you.
That's a good thing that you did. I was not going to back down. And finally, the league with the most passion. Whether it's soccer. Yeah.
Soccer all the way.
Do you practice your flops? Like when you're by yourself, you're just in front of your mirror there at your apartment, and you're like, you know what, this is believable if I just kind of flail out the arm, just lose all power in your legs.
No, I don't. No. It just comes naturally. Naturally.
Does that spray really help?
No.
The miracle spray?
Not at all.
Do you ever just say, just don't even bother? Just give me like another 2 minutes and I'll be up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did that a couple.
So was I right on my assumption that there's a lot of drama? There's a lot of drama there with the flops in soccer. But now I understand that it's strategic.
Yeah, it's all
so there's
tactical,
an appreciation.
It's all tactical stuff.
Have you ever thought about acting?
No. God, no.
No?
No.
Well, you would be our second because Yaxel Lindeborg, and you know who Yax is.
Yeah.
Big 6'10", another double-double the other night. But he actually did his impersonation of Joker from the movie Joker. And it was great.
Oh, yeah.
It was spot on. Do you do any impersonations?
No.
You don't want to try? What about accents? Can you do Coach Lilly's accent?
No, I can't. I can't. I can't. Nah.
Okay.
No, I can't.
All right, goals for the next season. What are they?
Win the conference. Win as many games as we can.
Good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Pretty painless. Just think about it. You have all that training to do.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's with the ball.
But you might be learning about Braveheart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. You'll love it.
Okay.
Get you fired up too.
Gotcha. I'll watch it later today.
You might get another red card.
Oh God.
It'll have you run through a brick wall. It will.
Okay.
Alan Lindez. He is our UAB Student Athlete of the Week. The Inferno podcast continues. That's going to do it. Episode 24 of the Inferno podcast. We appreciate UAB soccer coach David Lilly. Also, Alan Melendez, our student athlete of the week. And as always, our producer and really the brains behind the operation, Molly Robinson, for putting all of this together. Once again, go to uabsports.com. You can find all the events happening within UAB Athletics, all the latest news, and there's a link right there at the very top of the page. You can subscribe to this very podcast. Multitude of platforms. We appreciate you viewing it on YouTube. Ring the bell, recommend, share with friends, family, church members, just random passersby. See Inferno Podcast. This is the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Blazer fans, this is the place each week to get an inside look into UAB Athletics. This episode of the Inferno Podcast is brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and Pearl River Resort.